another seemingly strange lift, or potentially unconventional, but for a reason. For a freaking reason. So quads are still, let's just say, one level below incapacitated from the last leg day, which I'd probably, usually I'm not this sore even after a good leg day, this many days out, but I haven't been going crazy hard on quads since I kind of pulled the right one just a little bit. I've been backing off. So the last quad day was a real good one. So maybe it kind of hit me by surprise. So I'm going to save quads for tomorrow on their own. And then today's just going to be freaking hamstrings and adductors. So honestly, a pretty easy lift for me. Because for me to go to failure, or to really push it hard on hamstring curl sets, it's really not insanely taxing. Like, I'll still get sweaty, I'll be huffing and puffing. But for me to do a set of, squats to failure, that is way harder than it is for me to do a set of hamstring curls to failure. So, given that I kind of already have a little bit of a, let's just say, an advantage on hamstrings, because it's pretty easy for me to really hit them hard, I'm not just going to slack off. I'm going to take advantage of that and still really push it. So laying curls, seated curls, maybe some cable RDLs if I feel like it. And then once hamstrings are fully pumped up, just move on to the adductor machine, the ball crusher. Sit there for 5 or 6 sets, then move on. Well, not even move on, then we're done. Kind of an easy one. I will say this about the adductor and the abductor, the good girl machine, the bad girl machine. If you're a dude, I don't know, man. I don't necessarily see a point for you to be just, busting out reps on your glutes on the abductor machine, the abduction machine. Because, you do you, I guess, whatever. You're not going to catch me doing it. I think that's what I'm really trying to say. But adductors, right, squeezing your legs together, sort of thickening up your, inner quad, inner thigh, that I like. Just because from the front, of course, if you kind of stand with your, anybody with relatively big legs knows this. If you stand like facing a full body mirror and you put your feet kind of like slanted like this, your toes are sort of facing away from each other, then your legs are going to look pretty thick. Like the insides are going to be kind of almost touching the top just because your hamstrings are kind of, facing each other. But if you stand with your feet facing forward and you're looking at yourself, that's how your quads really look from the front. And if your adductors are slacking, then you're going to be rocking a white girl thigh gap. So not only is there a little bit of a visual appeal to having bigger adductors, aka your legs are just going to be bigger on the inside, but you've also got some strength appeal. I'm not a deadlifter, of course, and I'm definitely not a sumo deadlifter. Not to say I don't like sumo, it's whatever, I don't even have an opinion. But your adductors are going to make you feel stronger and more stable on your pressing movements. I've known this from experience. If I don't do adductors on a consistent basis, then I feel like my squat is compromised. Like, I'm still strong, I can still lift a lot of weight, but I'm just a little bit more wobbly. Because in a movement like that, or, oh my goodness, even leg press, it's like, obviously the main movers, quads, try to keep your glutes out of it, but your adductors are going to come into play just because they're a secondary muscle to heavy pressing with your legs. So, you got to make sure your secondary muscles can keep up with your primary ones, or else every time you go to bench really heavy, you're going to tweak your shoulder, or you're going to whatever, right? You get what I'm saying there. So, no reason not to be doing your adductors, and definitely no reason not to be giving hamstrings the same amount of love as quads, right? I don't really think this is as widespread now. I feel like I used to hear earlier 2000 teen years how people would sort of say like back would get neglected because you can't see your back, right? You can see your chest and your shoulders and your arms. You can't see your back. I feel like everybody's given back the attention it deserves, which it does deserve. But hamstrings, I still think they're behind the curve, man. Hamstrings, I still think, just get thrown in at the end of people's leg days with like maybe 2 or 3 sets and then roll. Maybe you do a couple sets of calves, which is good, but come on. If you're going to do 8 or 9 sets for quads, why would you only do 4 sets for hamstrings? You see what I'm saying? So make sure you hit everything with an equal amount of attention, unless you have like a seriously overpowered muscle where you've got the arms and shoulders of a 150-pounder but the chest of a 250-pounder. Not that I think that would ever fucking happen, but if some kind of muscle's ahead of the game, then you could back off a little bit. For a while my back was actually kind of overpowering compared to everything else. I feel like that's from doing gymnastics, because they'd have us do a bunch of like, not weight exercises, but a lot of kind of calisthenic stuff. So we were always doing a ton of pull-ups and shit. So I think pre-lifting, my back was already ahead of the game. So I took like 6 months off of back, maybe a year and a half ago, because it was just kind of a little bit too big compared to everything else. Not to say it was so big that it was like, holy shit, but if you've got a good eye for it, you can tell if something's ahead of the game versus not. Not that I'm not trying to influence your creative vision for what your build should look like, but if your quads are much bigger than they're much bigger in comparison than everything else, then maybe take the volume down, put a little more emphasis on everything else. But that's getting into a real niche scenario. There's basically no one in the world with quads that are too big. Oh my goodness. So hamstrings, adductors, just looking in through the window, it's fucking dead in there, as I would expect on 8/20 on a Tuesday night. So let's just get in there, warm up my calves a little bit so that hamstring curls don't bother the back of my knees, and then we can start that first working set. Out of all the hamstring curls that I've tried, this one's definitely got to be my favorite. I don't know, just because I like it. Actually, okay, it's a tie. It's this one, and then there's a seated one that I really like. I guess it's kind of tricky to compare the two. It's like saying it's apples and oranges, right? Even though they're both a fruit, they're both hamstrings, they are different enough where I'd say you kind of have to categorize your favorites in between laying and seated. But either way, whatever, all I'm trying to say is I like this machine. So warmed up, feel nice and strong. Hamstrings are ready to move some real weight around. So I'm not going to be insanely brutish with this first one. I'm going to try to do these reps pretty controlled. Like, as I get weaker, I'll probably start moving them quicker, because I'll kind of develop a little bit of antsiness because I'm getting weak, if you can imagine. But for the first few, slow-ish, squeeze it, really hold it on top, then go back down and repeat. So as many as I can get, plus partials at the end, and then just repeat. Okay. One more just like that. Oh, oh, ah. One more at the same weight, and then I'm gonna shift gears into some lighter single leg stuff. Oh. Okay. All right. Let's drop the weight. So, less than half a stack, but these will definitely be more so lighter squeezing sets. Like I'm not just gonna bounce around like a nut. I'll be a bit slower controlled. So right side first, since my right hamstring's a little bit behind compared to the left one. So if the right one gets 15 reps, I'll stop at 15 on the left. Okay. 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 Let's go a little heavier. Oh my goodness. Now for the next set, I'm thinking 5 reps on the right leg, then 5 on the left immediately, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until I feel like I'm done. And then maybe finish with just one more set of double leg. I'm already fucking super pumped, but I want to just add the finishing touches. No. Okay. One more set double leg. And then we can check the hamstring pump. Hope you guys don't mind this one angle of a hamstring curl. There's really not that many ways to look at this shit. But last set, I think, I'm gonna make this one a little funky. We're gonna get a little fancy with this one. So instead of just straight set, for the first portion, so maybe the first 10 reps, maybe 15 reps, it'll just kind of depend on how strong I am. I'm gonna go, so here's the bottom. Halfway up, pause it for just a moment. Like not like an actual pause, like, okay, 1 second, I mean just one moment of stoppage and then finish the rep, right? So sort of a half rep pause, then second half of the rep style. I'm sure there's a cooler way to say that, but whatever. So I'll do that for the first portion. And once I get a little bit too fatigued to get any good reps out like that, then I'll just switch to burning out partials. I don't know why I don't do this style of rep with other body parts. I don't know. I like doing these sort of half and then second half styles with biceps. I like it with quads on leg extensions. I like it with hamstrings, obviously. But I never do it with anything else. I never do it with back. I never do it with chest. I guess I do it with calves a little bit. Sort of do like a half style rep. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Either way, this is going to be a good ender. And then hopefully my hamstrings look disproportionately large compared to my quads. This is kind of a rare sighting, seeing hamstrings fully pumped up and quads, you know, in their fucking base level state. Right? Hamstrings are Super Saiyan. Quads are just normal as Goku. So let's hit this shit. All right, let's go check this shit out. Okay. Rare hamstring pump check. Usually by the time I get over here, hamstrings are already done. They're kind of subsiding. The pump has been waning down, and quads are the real star of the show. So maybe they're jealous, so they needed to get some extra attention today. But pumpless, still some good quad separation. I would say so, most certainly. Actually, too much. I need to get softer. But let's see how hams are looking. Ooh, they certainly feel fucking tight. So that's what I'm aiming for. Honestly, I want the back of my leg here, this hamstring, I want that to be just as round, if not rounder, than how my quad looks when I, you know, smush it up against my other leg. But either way, definitely on the come up to something. Let's see. Calves are still just a touch sore from when I last hit them, so I'm gonna let them rest. I'm gonna keep them off the chopping block tonight, at least. They'll probably get their moment tomorrow. Either, probably after cardio. I wouldn't mind doing it post quads, but actually now that I think about it, I probably wouldn't mind doing it post quads. Once I finish the leg day tomorrow, or at least the quad day, I'm probably just gonna want to get the fuck out of here, go home and eat. So let's roll. Actually, no, what am I doing? I gotta go back up there and do adductors. But for you, let's roll. This thing on? Yeah. All right, guys. That lift, I was fighting my demons. I was really fighting my demons. I was on demon mode. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. That's kind of getting... I'll just say this. It's getting a little old for me. Seeing, I don't know. Because this is something that you'd only be able to get if you are an experienced lifter. Or I guess if you're experienced in anything. Like if people asked your friend group, like, so do you know anybody who does so and whatever? They'd point you out. That's what I mean. There's kind of a nonchalance that comes with becoming, I don't know, let's just call it, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Let's just say skilled, right? There's kind of a nonchalance that comes with, you know, going into the gym, doing a really good lift once you've kind of reached a certain level of development, you know? Like, it's counterintuitive that somebody who's been lifting for a ton of time and is crazy dedicated, that he wouldn't need so much hype to have a good lift. But, I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? You got to think, the longer you do something, the more efficient you'll be at it, right? The more, well, let's just say the less difficulty it's going to take for you to go through the motions of having a really good lift and pushing your sets really hard. You know, so when I see lifts that are like, or when I see TikToks and it's like, let your demons out, and then, you know, Fonk edit, blah, 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 blah. If that's what you're into, cool, but I don't know. I say the lifter who can just roll up to the gym because he's excited to lift is going to go way further than somebody who's, you know, in a real, I mean, I don't want to say it, but I do want to say it, a real just kind of depressed, downer mood. Like, oh, I'll show them. Yeah, I'll show them. I don't know. I'm not going to say you can't get far with a big ass chip on your shoulder, but I mean, you got to sort of take a little bit of a deeper look into your own thought process. Who are you doing it for? Are you doing it for somebody else? Are you doing it to get someone else's approval? Are you doing it because you want to, like, fit in with some sort of whoever else? I don't know, man. When I think about that, or if I think what it would be like if I was putting a lot of effort into something purely to, let's just sort of overarching the characterize into the word, like, get someone else's approval, then I'm just letting them control my life. That's fucking stupid. I don't know if it's because I'm disagreeable by nature, but I want to do shit that I want to do because I want to do it. And I definitely stand behind that. I guess, well, that gives me a little trouble sometimes. It makes me fucking not do my laundry, even though I probably should, or put off my homework and shit like that. But whatever. So if you've kind of been holding on to some shit like that, and every time you're in the gym you're really getting kind of upset, you're thinking about so and so or whatever, or just, I don't know, man. I think you could benefit from being a bit more zen. But that's not to say chill out on your sets. That's where that contradictory part comes in that I was talking about. Like, I want to be moderately chill and level-headed for the most part. I get a little crazy with squats and a couple of my really heavy sets, but for the most part, I've got my music going. I'm in the zone. Right, it's sweet. But then for the sets, a couple of huffs and puffs, and then throw some weight around. So that's just how I like to go about it. Obviously, I'm not sure. It's not like that's the best way. That's just my deal. So take just put some thought into it, right? Why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you doing what you're doing? End of that. That's the end of that. Can't get too philosophical on you because I'm not a fucking philosophy major, right? I'm just I feel like I'm relatively lightly versed in a lot of topics. Right? I don't get too deep into any one thing, I guess, except for weights. But plan for tonight, stop at McDonald's, 5 single cheeseburgers. Honestly, I've been getting doubles. I've been getting double cheeseburgers, and they're kind of fucking hard to eat, man. Like, look, I'm not gonna stand behind the quality of the protein in a fucking McDonald's single. I'm not gonna say that's the fucking best, but calories are calories, and I need to get more fucking energy down my fucking meat hole. So 5 cheeseburgers is going to do the trick. That's going to be 1,500 calories, 300 calories each, plus a large fry. That's going to be another about 500. Plus, I'm torn. What do you think? Sprite or a high C? You can guess. I'm not going to say. I know what I'm going to get, though. So that'll be the plan then. And then, when I go home, I'll actually cook up a steak and keep eating. Oh, man, I have got some responsibilities outside of the realm of lifting to deal with tonight. And unfortunately for me, I've sort of made it harder on myself for no reason apart from laziness. I've got a midterm tomorrow. It's online. It's just like 3 problems, but this shit is fucking tricky, man. So I guess by the time you see this, I will have already taken it. But yeah, just wish me luck. Heat transfer. You know anything about heat vectors? I'd really appreciate it if you did. But whatever. So I'll probably be up for a while, looking over all sorts of homework problems and little lectures tonight to make sure I don't completely bomb it. But I'll make sure I got a ton of calories getting into my system the whole time. So that will be nice. I will say this bulk has been a slow start. I've kind of noticed over my last couple of bulks that I plateau relatively quickly. And that's not because I just gained so much weight and then that's it. Typically, what ends up happening, oh, I'm in the wrong lane, is, I jump straight up from my dieting calories, which is like, 2,500 ish or so, to like 5,000, 6,000, right? Pretty much in the 5,000s. And then 3 months of 5,000 calories, and then I am fucking done. I just can't eat any more fucking food. So the last bulk, like the bulk from earlier this year, that was extended far beyond necessary. I could have called it at like month 3.5, but instead I extended it just because I liked being nice and bulked up. So this one, I am doing a slow ramp up. So instead of jumping straight to that 5,000, 6,000 calorie number, I've been floating more around high threes, just about 4, because I don't want to just, get up to so-and-so weight and then not be able to eat anymore and not be able to maintain it. So that's one thing I am changing with this bulk. So rather than jump straight to absolute freakazoid full of carbs, nice and veiny, kind of easing into it a little bit. But now it's about time to pick up the slack, start chowing down and get some more treats in my system. So that is the plan there. But tomorrow, cardio in the morning, quads in the evening. Same shit as normal. I'm sure it's going to end up being a lot of leg extensions. I might actually have to chill on squats because the act of getting into a squat position, it kind of puts a lot of tension on my chest. So since the left one's just a little bit funky, it's going to be in my best interest not to put too much pressure on it and not to stretch it out. So looks like I may end up having to do, well, it depends on what gym I go to. If I head over to Metro, then I get to use the cable hack squat, which I really like. Maybe I'll do that. Honestly, that's a badass machine. I wouldn't mind staying there for like the majority of the quad day. So I guess we'll have to see. But what else is there to discuss? Not much, man. Fuck. I will say this one more time. We're still pretty much in the New Year's transition. So it's still it's not weird to be saying this. But I'm still seeing them. I'm still seeing TikToks. Fucking 2022 was a warm up. No. It's like, I don't know what it was. It was like 20. I don't know. It's like 2022 was whatever. It was bullshit. 2023, we're starting to step up. 2024, this is where we perform. I mean, I love the sentiment. There's no better time to start. Well, actually, the best time to start anything is like 5 years ago. But if you can't do that, then second best time is, right now. So I like the sentiment. I like the sentiment behind that kind of post. But, I still kind of have to say, I feel like the people that are posting that this year about 2024, they posted the same shit about 2023. And they posted the same shit about 2022. And the same shit about 2021. And, just kind of a constant cycle of, this year is going to be sick. All right, whatever. We'll do it next year. This too much right now. Not ready. Come on. It's an unfortunate truth, but to be a baller in any realm, you are in the minority, right? The majority of folks are not gonna fucking roll up to the gym every day, lift hard, go home, track their macros. Fucking guaranteed the majority of people are not going to do their cardio on a daily basis. So, statistically, the odds are against you. But if anything, that should fucking hype you up, man. Right? Who doesn't want to be in the minority? It's fucking badass. So that's enough of my little motivational speech. I always feel weird kind of saying that kind of stuff. Like, I don't know. Because it's... I feel like I'm trying to convince you to do this shit that if you really get into, you're never going to want to stop. At least if you really get into it. I mean, I couldn't. Oh, it's, I mean, it's like taking the fucking red pill, man. It's getting unplugged from the matrix. Once you start going to the gym hard, and once you start tracking your macros, there's no going back. And I kind of feel like even saying it like that sort of turns people off to the idea of it. But whatever. You got two options. I love making Matrix references. All right, you got the blue pill. 2 hours of Fortnite every night, and 3 hours of Young Sheldon. All right, it's pretty nice. Get in a Snuggie, sit in your desk, put a feet warmer by your feet. You're probably going to be very cozy. Or red pill. Get your pre-workout. Go to the gym. Go nuts. Watch a variety of lifting videos. Become informed. Then after a while, make it such that people are bringing up the fact that you lift even when you're fully clothed. So, as maybe that's something that you got to kind of think about. But ideally, or at least for me, that is what I would call a no-brainer. An absolute freaking no-brainer. But I'm not your dad. Do whatever the hell you want. So I'll see you next time for quads. I might even do a little pumpless pump check after cardio. Just a little check-in. Yeah, I should probably do those every couple of months. I mean, obviously I see what I look like, but you guys only get to see me when I got a arm pump or a shoulder pump or a hamstring pump or whatever else. So, yeah, maybe I'll do that tomorrow morning. But who's to say, right? Who knows? That's tomorrow. I don't even know who that fucking guy is, man. I'm going to focus on what's in front of me. A big-ass McDonald's order. So I will see you tomorrow for quads and potentially something else. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. But I'll see you next time.